Hello, everyone, and welcome to the DGTL Growth Podcast, where marketing leaders turn playbooks into pipeline. I'm Suse Barnes. Today, we're talking about marketing for propane, heating oil, and home service companies with Andrew Maderia, co-founder and president of Navara Marketing. Andrew, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to chat.
How is business going for you today?
Business is very good. When I say we, Brett, my business partner, and I, co-founder of Navara, recently merged our two businesses together and went public with it. August 5th was our grand announcement. What a lot of people didn't know is we had our teams, working in the background collaboratively, on our back office system for over a year just to see what the synergies were, and any, red flags that maybe popped up with, the team and communication and how it would flow to clients and stuff like that. It was public facing the merger August 5th, but we had merged quite a bit of time before that, strategically, obviously. And it was great. And we're 2.5 months, and not a lot feels different. The name and how well like client communication flows, execution, on assets, campaigns, marketing strategies, everything feels like it's just starting to really flow well. Not that it didn't before, but it just really feels like it's just really flowing from idea to execution, asset, client approval, deployment. And it's just like the speed is just really, gotten a lot quicker. And I think it's only going to get better and better, which we're really excited about. Brett and I operated independently, but collaboratively for 10 years. And finally, we're like, we kind of have two of everything, two Sprout accounts, two active campaign accounts, two Notion accounts, we just had two of everything. And I'm like, this seems ridiculous. It was a cost benefit to it, a speed, collaboration. There was a lot of things that we knew we were going to get out of this, and we're already starting to see them, which I'm excited.
Excellent. What is your vision for Navara going forward?
The vision is, it hasn't changed much from like what we had from before. One of the reasons that we collaborated and merged the two businesses together was we wanted to bring on more clients faster and have them onboarded and up and running quicker. And a lot of the times, some of the communication between the teams had to flow between him and I. And I can be a little bit of a bottleneck sometimes, and maybe Brett can be a little bit of a bottleneck sometimes as well, just because, I'm sure other, CEOs and, general managers and stuff like that know that, yes, your job is to run the company. Your job is to manage, day-to-day stuff, but you are also the fire extinguisher. And as those things come up, some take 5 minutes, some take a whole day. Sometimes it requires getting in the car. Sometimes it requires getting on a flight. So prioritizing the day-to-day things when it comes to that is definitely something we have gained some efficiencies. And what our vision, is that we now have a GM in place. We now have client partners in place and account managers and the execution team. And now there's like this really nice, back and forth flow. Whereas Brett and I are managing somewhat from the day to day, but not so much. We're really, pushing for what's next. Are we adding, version 2.0 next year for our Navara Connect, which is our client portal system where they can go in and see everything we're working on and suggest things. It also gives them access to move and shake things on their websites and gives us the tools that we need. But yeah, I think we're just continuing to try to really expedite our onboarding process. We're trying to decide on is like a full-blown onboarding team. Are we ready for that yet? We're trying to build up pipeline a little bit more before we kind of, you know, inherit that expense, because that, as we've learned, the onboarding team, they're not cheap. So, but yeah, we're trying to continue to be, one of the firms in the industry that is a trendsetter, and we're constantly always challenging what I would say, I'm going to use this term loosely, our archaic industry. I hope our clients don't get offended if they listen to this, but, you know, the dinosaurs out there that, you know, traditionally have used very traditional methods, for marketing and customer communication and stuff like that. And I think one thing that you could ask any one of our clients that's been with us for, 2, 3 years or longer, is that we push them, and we've pushed them and we continue to push them. And now they trust us to let us kind of run with a different versions of, marketing and communications that, for them, when we first suggested it, was very uncomfortable for them. So, but now the industry's starting to catch up to like other industries, and, and optimizing, their marketing and communications and stuff like that. So we're excited to be a trendsetter in the industry, and we've been labeled that, I feel like, a little bit. We challenge the conventional, approach, always, always.
Well, as a marketing arm for your clients, that's kind of what they need, right? They need somebody to push them forward and do different things in order to get the attention that they need, and so that's good. How many people do you have on your team, and how big are you looking to grow?
I thought you were intentionally that, but gosh, it's such a loaded question, and I'll tell you why. Because we take a very boutique approach. We are very hands-on. We we have 3 client partners who manage each individual account, and they meet with each account sometimes twice a week. And they have a big monthly call, which we try to, either myself or Brett or both of us try to join the big monthly call, just to take, to show face, to make sure that we're, involved in any kind of big decisions. Um, the industry we're in is consolidating, and so we do a lot of merger acquisition work. That is mine and Brett's home run swing. Making sure that you're minimizing attrition on acquisitions, because the multiples have gone so high in our industry for the companies that are being bought and purchased and merged. But the staff wise, we're about 26, 7, we have a couple, like, not full-time people, maybe part-timers that come in. We, that are like more 1099s and stuff like that. But they feel like they're part of the team because they're always doing something for us. So I'd say we're probably 26, 27 people. As far as growth, with if you utilize technology, we feel like we can continue to grow with the staff that we have now. When we've grown in the past, I feel like I've always tried to keep like one staff member extra, like a buffer. So that way, like, and you're never going to find that recipe. You're never going to, make that recipe perfect of client to staff, the proportion between staff and clients. But I feel like we've got it dialed in pretty good. And, we could probably use, another content person, maybe one more person on the execution side. But our team is always ready for more. They're anxious. They want to advance themselves. They want to make more money. We keep a very good pulse on, the workload for everybody. We're very, very big believers in like that work-life balance. We don't have offices anymore. Everybody works from home, and we're big believers. Just, pardon my language, but just get your shit done, and enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your children, enjoy your family, and the hobbies that you love to do. But as long as our clients are happy and your work's done, Brett and I are satisfied, and happy. As far as growing some more on the staff side, yes, we will. But on the client side, I'd like to 2x in the next 36 months.
Great. What innovations are you looking forward to in terms of 2xing?
We're deep into AI. We use it. I mean, I want to say probably, between the entire staff, we're using AI for little pieces of almost everything and bigger pieces for other things. Building out the individual profiles for each client and continuing to add to those profile with prompts really allows for the execution of assets, because it's kicking out, stuff that's three quarters, 80% done. And then it just needs a few tweaks. And then it goes to, you know, design. And then they add some like amazing graphics, and stuff like that. And it's just, it's really, really helped us to, continue to move quickly, and efficiently, but maintain that boutique quality that we built, our individual companies on, and that we want, our brand to follow on, the boutiqueness of our work and our interaction, with the people we work.
Mhm. How do you find your clients? How do people find you?
We launched the website. It needs so much more work. I feel like
Always.
my mentor and a person very much smarter than me said, if you find a marketing firm where their website is a little dog shit and kind of terrible, chances are that's a really good firm because they don't have any time to work on their own stuff. And if you find a firm that's got this amazing, fantastic website that's super integrating and you can like, journey here and this and that, and like chances are they got a lot of time to work on their own stuff. I don't know how true that is, but I can say that we fall in that right now. Our website's only probably 4 or 5 pages, but we just haven't had a chance to get
Mhm.
it's there. Bonnie handles our LinkedIn, and our LinkedIn is pretty powerful stuff. I'm not sure if you had a chance to look at it. We try to position ourselves as, the authority in this industry on how to do marketing really well, and we show by example. We lead by example. We lead with, actual assets that we've done in results driven, search intent, results driven. Like those are the words and phrases that we're using when it comes to,
Mhm.
do business. So I would say LinkedIn, we drive traffic to our website. We have an amazing newsletter that goes out. We only do one a quarter, because we put, our heart and soul into that thing. Our email list is quite fruitful. And then our industry is very big on trade shows and conferences. State associations all have their own independent conferences and trade shows every year. And then there's more national ones as well. Our biggest conference of the year is NPGA. It's the National Propane Gas Association. It's an international show. You get opportunities from all over the world. And we go in guns blazing for NPGA. We went in really hard last year. We try to make ourselves very relevant. Last year, we flew the Madeira Group flag, which is my company. And Brett had some L4 group stuff in there, but I can tell you that, we're starting to really lock in our planning for conference season for 2026 and trade shows and stuff. And we got some cool stuff coming, and we are all in on conferences. We know that that's where our prospects and customers are, and they go there to learn and see what's next. What do I need to be doing? What do I need to be like? How do I need to be selling better? Like what products or companies are out there that are going to help me better my business, better my customer experience, and get me more business.
Very cool. Where are those conferences? Are they all over the world? Or are they in the US?
All US based. The the NPGA one is in Nashville, and it always attracts an amazing crowd. Nashville is an amazing city. A lot of the families and the people that own the companies that we work with and are looking to work with, a lot of them are old school and they love music and they love that culture that's in Nashville. they bounced it to Charlotte, and I saw a little bit of drop in attendance. But we're going back to Nashville next year. Like I said, we are going in guns blazing, and then we're excited about it. Eastern Energy Expo, that's they bounce out of back and forth from Atlantic City to Mohegan Sun up in Connecticut. They've always those at casinos. Maybe they had it at Hershey, Pennsylvania, where the chocolate park is or whatever. But when they have it at in Connecticut at Mohegan Sun, it's a really nice. It's a little bit newer casino. It's easily accessible, and that one is geared a little more towards heating oil. So, and not that it discounts or not include propane companies and HVAC companies, but it's definitely geared a little more towards the heating oil guys. And then there's association conferences and trade shows all throughout the country. I mean, you could go to something every week if you wanted to. We don't have the budget for that. And nor I don't know if any of us, on the staff wise, that would burn us out really fast. So you got to really be strategic, in our industry on which ones you want to go to. I feel like a lot of us on the vendor side, we're like going to the trade shows. I feel like all of us are kind of dialed in on which ones we all go to. Some of my best friends in the industry are also vendors. And just enjoy seeing them and stuff like that. But yeah, there's a few. There's one big one down in Florida. I don't know if you're familiar with. In Orlando. There is this massive building. It's at some kind of a arena. I can't remember if it's an arena or something like that. But they have an HVAC conference down there, trade show. It takes you 2 or 3 days to walk the entire floor.
Yeah, it's huge.
Your feet hurt. You're hoarse by the end of it. But it's nice because the HVAC part of our industry, because we're mainly on the fuel side, and almost all of our clients have a HVAC arm to their business. So we like to make sure that we're staying top of funnel, top of mind on anything new that's coming down, the pipeline for HVAC. Is the refrigerant changing? Like what brands are adopting the new refrigerants and stuff like that. And that helps us on the marketing side, so we know what to push and what not to push.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about shifts you're seeing in marketing for your industry, for your clients, propane, heating oil, home services.
Don't screw up. The heating oil, propane, let me talk residential first. So residential homeowners who use heating oil and propane, they're very loyal customers. They want to know that you're going to keep their family warm. Like, you got a big responsibility, right? Like, we have a bunch of companies in the Northeast, and it gets cold for 3, 4, sometimes 5 months. It's really cold. And a real scenario, mom's home 2:00 in the morning, husband's away on work for a couple days, and she wakes up and the house is 48 degrees and it's 0 degrees outside. Like, the husband doesn't want the phone call because there's nothing he can do. He's 2,000 miles away. Who does he call at that moment? And that's the call that secure. If you answer that call and execute and save that and make sure that facilitates the right way, that customer is yours for a very, very long time. And it's not always the save or the emergency, that guarantees you that customer's business for a long time. It's just really being good at customer service. If they have a question, if they are, shopping around for price, they just genuinely want to understand a little bit more about the difference between heating oil and propane. If you give them that 5 minutes once, twice throughout the lifetime of that customer's time with you, your business, you secure them for a very long time. The Jim Townsend was a good friend of mine. He was one of our early adopters. He had a good quote. Gosh, it was on the top of my tongue and I'm forgetting it now. And it was around customer service, and it was just more of like, just do, like, you could sell lollipops, you could sell you know, desks for, for your office. You could sell chairs, you could sell furniture, whatever. It doesn't matter what you're selling, heating oil, propane. Just be really, really good at customer service. You do it a little bit different than the guy next door, you're going to have more customers. And so what we try to do is we take the customer feedback from the clients we work with, and we pollute that everywhere in our marketing, in our emails, in our socials, on the websites, everywhere. Because when someone's either making a change or adding heating oil or propane to their home or making a change from someone else, they're going to the web and they're going to say, propane, best propane company near me, or cheap heating oil near me. And when you pop, that person's search intent based. They want to make a decision that day. I don't want to deal. I want to make this. I want to get this done with. Let's lock in our heating oil company. Let's lock in our propane company for, for this season. And you got to be there, and you got to have the answers ready to go, and you have to make it easy for them to find them, and also easy for them to find the things that are most important to them. And once you do that really well and they give you that form fill, they hit that call track number, then it's up to the client. After that, like, you got to go do what you do. We bring the leads in and you got to lock them down.
Curious on the 2 a.m. call. Do you have do your customers answer those? Or, I mean, how does that work?
Yeah, so a lot of our clients have service contracts for their customers. And what a service contract does is it puts you in a priority situation where you can take advantage of like, if you wake up in the middle of the night and you don't have heat, you call and someone real answers that phone. Most of the time it's a technician that's on call. The technicians all take turns being on call throughout the night. And the technician will answer and he'll try to help diagnose some part of it over the phone. And once he realizes that, oh man, I gotta go. Maybe it was just an emergency switch on off and it resets the system. And then she's like, yeah, I'm up back and going. Okay, no problem, Mrs. Jones. If it for some reason goes back off, just call me and then I'll come. Once he makes the diagnosis over the phone, whether he needs to go or not, and if the outcome is that he does need to go, if that customer has a service contract, there's a portion of that call that's covered in their contract, whether it's a discount, on the labor side, if they need parts, and stuff like that. Now, the other scenario where we come in and we try to be influential is that the people that call company after company and no one picks up, and finally they get one of our clients who's not they and they don't provide them heating oil or propane. That's that's the decision on the text part to say, all right, am I going to go there? I'm going to try to push a service contract. I'm going to tell them, if you want me to come and do this service, you need to start using us for heating oil. You start using us for propane. And goes back to what I originally said was, when you do the emergency call at 2 a.m., you didn't have their business. You have it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Because they just need a solution right away.
the
Yeah.
2 a.m. call is hook, line, and sinker.
Andrew, what's working well and what's frustrating at the same time in your business?
Our approach to marketing is working really well. What's frustrating is that there's no more 18, 19, 20-year-old folks in the country that want to go to tech school and be an HVAC technician, a plumber, or electrician. And so what's happening right now, more so than I care to talk about, to be honest with you, is that we're having to throttle back on our marketing. And kind of saddens me because there's so much opportunity out there. And we've had to make some adjustments on some of the other marketing that we're doing in order to help them on the recruitment side. So we're running some extensive LinkedIn recruitment campaigns, driving traffic to careers pages that we've built with jobs widgets and stuff like that, and trying to get as many folks in as possible to try to get more technicians and drivers and plumbers and electricians at our clients that we work with, so that way we can push the throttle back up on the marketing. Uh, it's it's frustrating, and I'm frustrated. It's not frustrating so much like for me personally. I'm frustrated for the clients that we work with because they know that there's so much more opportunity out there and they know that we can go out and get it for them, but they don't have the staff to go and do it all in a timely manner where it doesn't reflect badly on the client, where they're like, yeah, they said they were going to come out and do a tune up on my system, or they said they were going to install a new system, or that I was going to get a delivery, and they don't get it when they expect it, because all of a sudden a bunch of 2 a.m. calls get in the way of that new customer or that install or that service, stuff like that. And then we have to start, going into PR, mode, where we're handling, any kind of like, bad reviews that come in, or, trying to make sure that, we're keeping the client's reputation, at its best.
Hmm. Hmm. Why do you think there is the slowdown in number of kids wanting to go into the field?
Um, I can tell you from personal experience, because I have younger brothers. Um, I grew up working on my our family's commercial lobster boats. When I was 8, I told my dad I wanted a bike, and he pointed over to our family's lobster boats and said, "Yeah, go put the bands on the lobsters for the summer. We'll get you a bike." Okay, great. So me and my brother Matt had a very blue collar mentality our whole entire life, and I think that's one of the reasons that I get along so well with all the clients that we work with, because they're blue collar guys, whether they started with 1 truck, 2 trucks, 3 trucks, and now they have 20 trucks and 150 employees. They came to work and they had grease on their hands and smelt like heating oil, and they did that, and so I understand what it takes to like to go through that and eventually come into work and not have to go out in the van and do a tune up or deliver oil all day. Although we have some clients that they would prefer just to go jump in the heating oil truck all day and not answer the phone or deal with any kind of internal problems. I'm an honest person, Sue, so I just shoot it straight. I think the younger generation is not interested in getting their hands dirty. They're not interested in any kind of blue collar work. But the crazy part is they have no idea that if they spun up an HVAC company, or went and, worked for one of our clients, that the opportunity to make 6 figures is, after you get the proper schooling, is almost instantaneous. The idea that, I don't know if it's been, you know, put in their heads, or like they just hear it from, others, that, oh, I'm going to go work on Wall Street, or I'm going to go and work at some firm and do this and that, and I'm automatically going to make $100,000 as soon as I walk through the door. Some of the bigger corporations have executed on that, and so now, like, the youthful American dream, I'm going to call it, is that, oh, I'm going to come out of college and I'm going to go in, and $100,000 should be easily accomplished, year one. So why would I go do a 9 to 5? Why, like, now I can work from home. Now I can do this. Now I can do that. And I think that's really pulled away from, any of these like trades, you know, are going to be lacking. I saw a stat from, um, our Department of Energy head in the US, that said in 2 years that if we don't get 500,000 new HVAC technicians, plumbers, and electricians, that the shortage will be so much that there's going to be major issues, major problems with people getting, stuff done in their homes and in their small businesses and their larger businesses and stuff like that. So yeah, that part's frustrating and scary, and we're trying to figure out ways to, help the clients, bring in more staff and more help, because the guys that are doing it all now, they're not too far away from retirement, and the apprentices are a little foreign. It's tough to find them, and so Yeah, I would say that's one of the things that's, has got me up a little bit at night for all the people that we work with.
It sounds like another project. It sounds like you need to take on educating the public about why doing that kind of work is valuable and lucrative.
We have something in the pipeline
Okay, yeah,
that
yeah,
I
I wondered.
can't share right now, but we have something that we're working on that
Nice.
might help this situation.
Mm-hmm. Good, yeah. Always looking at what's the next opportunity, right?
Oh, I'm very opportunistic. I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. Uh, it just you just get used to it, I guess, and it's just like
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't do it any other way.
Where do you want to be in the 6 to 12 months from now with Navara?
I want to continue to build our brand and continue to leverage the heritage brands that that power Navara now with Madeira Group and L4 Group. And we want to, in 12 months, I want those names to be gone, and I want Navara to have enough brand equity where we don't need to rely on those businesses anymore, for 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 notoriety, for credibility, and anything that goes with that. I'd say that's one thing. And another thing would be I would like to I'd like to put on, a bunch more clients. We're built for speed now. We got a ton of horsepower. The pipeline's getting nice and full. We had an amazing new discovery call with a new client this morning, and it's two young guys, and they're like, "We want to get in the propane business." I'm like, "Heck yeah, let's go!" Because when you get dancing with the younger guys, they're like, get it, they're opportunistic, they're not going to fight you, on any kind of like new tactics and strategies. Whereas, again, no offense to the dinosaur guys, and they'll laugh because they know my personality and they know I don't mean that in any way, shape, or form. But their sons and daughters are starting to take over, and we're like, yeah, yep, sounds good. Like, okay, you're gonna retire, great. I can't wait to talk to Anna, I can't wait to talk to Sean, that are coming in and running these big family owned and operated companies, because they're like, yep, go. It's not, and not that the older fathers and grandfathers and stuff don't trust us, but it just takes a little bit longer to accomplish your goal. So in the next 12 months, I see some turnover happening where we're going to, retire some of the older guys, and the new bloods coming in, and they're going to be like, rock and roll, let's go. So that's, in the next 6 to 12 months, I see that happening as well.
Great. Anything else you want to add?
I would just say that whatever industry you're in, marketing is something that that is in the past wasn't as easily measured as it is now. And one thing that I've learned for longevity purposes and retention purposes for the clients we work with, we have clients, some of the clients we've worked with 10 plus years already. And if you can continue to show them value, but also show them the results and the ROI on what you're doing in real time, in real ways, and not these complicated reports that Google spits out for, on the analytics side or GA4 or whatever, like, break it down for them, show them, take the time to show them the process in which we go through on the marketing side, and how those results turn out and what it looks like for them on the ROI side. Then you're going to build relationships with your clients and customers that are hard to be infiltrated by your competitors.
Show them the money. Show them the ROI.
Yes.
Excellent. So you're at navaramarketing.com, is that right? Cool. Well, Andrew, thank you so much. This has been wonderful to chat with you and learn more about your business and what's happening in the industry. That's it for the show.
Perfect. I appreciate it, Suse. Thank you so much. Look forward to chatting again soon.
Yeah, sounds good.